Let's get into Ottawa. Jesse Blake.
I don't know if I'm buying this, Adam.
I'm just fuck it. Like, who cares if I'm right?
Right.
Let's do this for total fucking smash and grab. Now, Ottawa, Jesse, let's go.
When I started my draft, I started off with the 4 goalies I want. Ottawa has one of them. I'm taking Joey Decord. I think it's an easy pick. A 24-year-old goalie with super high potential. He's locked up till 2023 when he'll still be an RFA. You throw him in the Seattle system. You let him develop, and maybe when one of the first 2 goalies I drafted aren't as stable anymore, you got Joey Decord in your system. I think it's a easy pick here.
Steve Dangle.
I had a long look at Joey Decord, and I may be doing an expansion draft for Tim and Friends, and I am potentially going to change my pick if I feel like it after the show, because I get to cheat like that. But I did not take Joey Decord. You need players, and you guys have made fun of me for not having enough of those. So no, this guy is good. He's a good player. Bit of an off season last year, but the team he was on did better with him there. He's a UFA at the end of the upcoming season. Chris Tierney.
Interesting.
$3 million
Chris Tierney.
Yeah, $3.5 million Chris Tierney, but veteran presence. And it's not at the deadline anyway. It's not too bad of a contract. Again, I'm looking for value. And I see value in Chris Tierney as an expansion GM. So I take him.
I'm going to go again. And I looked at Dadonov just because I liked what he did in Florida. Haven't loved what he did in Ottawa, but I guess he's, warm body that plays hockey there, and that's important. I'm going with goaltending depth again. And I was thinking about Decord, but then I'm like, wait a second. I've got Kakinen. So I'm going to go Anton Forsberg. Why?
Oh.
Depth. Why not? Guys,
he loves changing teams.
What's that?
Because he loves changing teams.
Sure does. And honestly, at the end of the day, it's like, what do you lose? I don't want to get bogged down in too much money here because I've got more money to spend later on in this draft. Anton Forsberg, for my team's model, makes a lot of sense because I can drop him at the drop of a hat. It's no big deal. And really, $700,000, you can bury that. No problem. All right. Now the next one's going to be interesting because not only do we have a big following from this fan base who love us and hate us at the same time, but there's always fireworks happening when it comes to the Edmonton Oilers. There's always a story. They are probably one of the most interesting franchises in the last 10, 15 years. And to be quite honest, Ken Holland didn't leave a whole lot on the table. A whole lot.
No.
Depending upon how you look at it and what you value. Jesse Blake, who did you pick?
I take what I think as is a free player.
Ooh.
He had surgery in March, and then he talked about how his career may never resume. I'm taking Oscar Klefbom. I pick him in the draft. I throw him out on LTIR. That's a free guy. It doesn't count against the cap. It just sits there. If Klefbom can play again, then he's a number 1 defenseman on my team. Boom, slot him in first pair every day. If he doesn't play again, it was free. It just sat on the cap, and then I get extra cap room on top of whatever I selected. So I'm taking Klefbom here just on the hopes that he can come back for next season.
Steve.
Again, deferring to a fan.
Your microphone is disconnected, my friend.
Is it?
Oh, now it's back.
Yeah.
Hey, now it's back. There we go.
Yeah.
It was off for just a minute.
Oh, okay. Anyway, I, again, deferred to a fan. I took Dwayne for the Buffalo Sabres, and for the Oilers, I picked Archeola Guy. And I messaged him, and I said, who do you think Edmonton is going to lose? Because I know my answer. Who do you want to lose the least? And his answer was my pick. I'm happy to say Tyler Benson.
Oh.
Now you might be going, who the hell is Tyler Benson? Well, again, an other RFA. I have a lot of those. So that's going to be a factor when it comes to my cap hit at the very end. He's only got 7 NHL games under his belt with 1 assist. This guy produces. He has a couple years ago, he had 66 points in 68 AHL games, then 36 in 47. He had 13 points in 15 games in the Swiss League last year. Then he came over, went to the AHL, 36 points in 36 games again. I have no idea why this Edmonton native cannot get into the Edmonton Oilers lineup, a lineup that needs depth scoring. And if you're looking for like a guy who just cannot find an opportunity and you're looking to give him one, Tyler Benson.
There it is. Now, if you're like me and when you watch the Edmonton Oilers, you understand with your eyeballs that they're a terrible team when Nuge, McDavid, and Draisaitl are not on the ice. Then, to me, you don't pick a player. If Benson can't make the lineup, Klefbom's injured. It's a little different. I'm a little worried about the Klefbom injury. Benson can't make that lineup, then I'm going to go with a goalie who's going to give me some depth and ensure that I don't lose some other goalies that I'm interested in on the waiver wire.
No way.
Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Stalock, baby.
Okay.
Not
if
Mikko
you said
Koskinen.
Koskinen, I was going to kick you in the chest.
I like Alex Stalock because he's going to be your third or fourth goaltender. And you know that probably at some point you're going to have to use that 1 or 2 games this year if you don't lose him on waivers, which I don't know.
I thought about Stalock too.
Yeah, he's not flashy, but you know what? He's not bad either. He's got some NHL experience. He's had some good runs. I'm going to go with a veteran presence and then Alex Stalock. Let's get into the next round with Calgary. I have a feeling that everybody's going to pick the same player, but I could be wrong. Jesse Blake?
Might be unanimous.
Yeah, I went with Giordano. I think that's the pick here. You take the guy who won the Norris 2 years ago, who's on an expiring deal. Like, I think that's so key for this. You get your top defenseman here, and if he's old and it doesn't work out, it's only one season, and then he's gone. And so I think it's an easy pick here.
Yeah, Steve Dangle.
Mark Giordano, I think he'll be reinvigorated by a new start here. Calgary's going nowhere in a hurry. You can flip him at the deadline if you're ass. You can re-sign him if you're good. I mean, Mark Giordano. There's no reason to take anybody. I took a peek at Oliver Shillington.
Not great.
No one up front really interested me. No one in net. Yeah, Giordano. That's the easy answer. Don't overthink it.
Yeah. I'm saying Giordano as well, can play, can lead. Kind of gives the team a bit of a name in the market, and there's a few other players that you can sort of, like, you got to look at, like, if you're Ron Francis, you got to look at the marketing department and go, okay, who are we going to put on a poster? Whose jersey are we going to sell? Giordano's an easy one, and if you need one, he could be the team's first captain. So it's not the worst thing in the world, right? Vancouver Canucks, guys. Who do you take?
I'm taking a guy who, frankly, I was surprised to see exposed. Really good numbers in the AHL. What he hasn't been able to prove is if he can do it in the NHL, and he played 7 games and had 0 points. But I'm going to give him the opportunity. He's only 22.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he's an RFA, but I'm going to be able to sign him for very little. Cole Lind.
Oh, okay. Good pick. Jesse Blake.
I also had Cole Lind, so I was going to go with Highmore or Lind, and I landed on Cole Lind.
I went with Zach McEwen. It was shocking to me how many people wanted to get Braden Holtby. You got to understand, Seattle is right next to Vancouver. Why would you help them? You're not here to help them with the contract. I take Zach McEwen because I don't want Braden Holtby. I'm not taking any Vancouver shitty contracts. They're not my friends, and I'm going to grind them hard. Zach McEwen's advanced analytics. If I have to use him in a pinch, he's not going to kill me. If he never plays a game, who cares? He played 34 for the shitty Canucks, and he didn't get caved in, and I like that. So he's a centerman. If he plays at the AHL, fine. If he plays in the NHL a little bit, cool. Probably needs a chance. Seattle's the place to do it. I'm taking Zach McEwen. And that brings us to the Washington Capitals. Jesse Blake.
This is number 4 of 4. My 4 goalies that I got in Seattle. Vitek Vanacek. I'm taking the young 25-year-old RFA, 7.16667 on the cap hit. He'll through next year. I'm going to take Vanacek and then I fill out my 4 goalie roster.
It's a good goalie pick. Steve Dangle.
Yeah, he finished 6th in Calder Trophy voting, which doesn't sound like much, but it's difficult for goalies to get into that conversation. You get 3 third-place votes. I'm going with Vanacek.
I am going with Alexander Ovechkin. Why? Because fuck him. If you can take Alexander Ovechkin, even for a minute off the Washington Capitals, fucking do it, baby. Now, if he never plays a game and he goes back and he signs in Washington, whatever. But if you could get Alexander Ovechkin signed, even for the few days that you would have to talk to him, that is a marketable NHL star. Alexander Ovechkin, Seattle Kraken, and at the end of his career, they won't be able to say that Alexander Ovechkin was always a Capital. He was Kraken for a little bit.
It's never going to happen, but I love it.
Oh, come on.
It's never going to happen, but I love it.
Full chaos. Fuck them. Let's go. That'll be fun. All right, and last team here, and this is, I think we're going to line up on this one as well. Winnipeg Jets. Who do you guys take? I think this is a pretty obvious one, but I could be wrong. Jesse Blake.
I think the obvious pick here is Dylan DeMello. Everyone, there was an article this morning on Sportsnet.ca about how exposing DeMello is the wrong thing to do, and it's a risky move by the Jets. I think you take the young right-handed defenseman. He's locked up long term at only $3 million per year till 2024. He's 28 years old. Right, D, like I said, that's the theme of this draft. So I'm going to take Dylan DeMello.
Steve Dangle.
What do you do when you're mad at your own hockey team? That's right. Make a friend feel worse about their hockey team. So I talked to my friend Brady about the Winnipeg Jets and how somehow the Jets are exposing Mason Appleton, Dylan DeMello, and Sami Niku at the same time. All of those players would be good answers, but Dylan DeMello is the goodest answer. I'm taking him.
Agreed on that. And I think you look at the Winnipeg Jets, who looked like shit when Dylan DeMello was not in the lineup this year. Dylan DeMello was the anchor, was the top guy on their team for defense, as far as I'm concerned. Dylan DeMello is an obvious pick, and right-handed shot defenseman. We like those. And thus concludes the expansion draft.